We're good?
Yes.
Perfect. Andrew Tate, welcome back to the Jack Neel podcast.
Yeah, I think last time was Romania. I was locked up there, didn't have any prospect of getting free, and now here I am in a movie studio in LA. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, welcome to Hollywood. But yeah, we'll just get right into it. There was a recent clip of you and a few other influencers at a nightclub with Ye's song playing in the background. This quickly became an international incident.
You know what? I can't take a piss without getting an international incident. Do you have any idea the level of stress and heat that's on your head when you are constantly going through life thinking, if I stop at this donut store and buy a donut, it's going to end up an international incident? Yeah, I didn't expect that. Clav and Nick, who I'd never met before, they wanted to stream, so we started streaming, and then they talked about it being Nick's first day in the club. I thought I'd have to go and check it out, and of course, it was an international incident, of course.
Do you believe what happened to you was unfair?
Look, I've never said anything positive about Israel in my life ever. But I think this whole anti-Semitic movement online, if we're going to actually truthfully address it as professionals, has it gotten out of control? I'm not sure. If I walk down the street and someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, Andrew, hey, I'm a huge fan. Hi, I'm from Israel." I'm going to say, "Okay, can I have a picture?" Sure. Am I supposed to punch them in the face? Am I supposed to pull out a knife and stab them?
It seems like that's what some people want you to do.
Well, that's what people want me to do, right? If someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, Israel's government is justified in their genocide," I'm going to say, "No, they're not. I think their genocide is completely disgusting. I disagree with nearly everything the Israeli government does. I would argue that the ADL has far too much control over American politics. I would argue there is certainly something strange with the amount of Jewish power that exists in the West. And also the powerful Jews who I meet and who I know brag about that. They're not ashamed of that. They actually say, you know, if you say to a Jew as a non-Jewish person, you control everything, they say you're anti-Semitic. But when you sit with them in private, they're like, we control everything. And they think it's funny. So all of that, I've been very clear on my positions, but people seem to believe I should just, I don't know, walk around and randomly attack any man who comes up to me who hints that he might have visited Israel at some point. And I think the reason we have this phenomenon is people are trying to escape the matrix, right? People are trying to escape their enslavement and understand how the world works. But the pendulum swings both ways. People are waking up and saying, I don't understand why my life is shit. And then they're researching online and going, my life is shit because of the Jews. But then they're getting enslaved in a different trap at the other side, because then they're saying, oh, so I can't win and everything in life is permanently shit because of the Jews. The Jews don't stop you going to the gym. If you have skinny arms, the Jews didn't do it. But there are people on the internet who will argue, yes, they did, because Jews have convinced us to be demoralized, and my dog bit me because a Jew told it to, and it goes so far the other way that they haven't escaped any prison. They're back in a new prison, which is blaming the Jews for everything. So there's certainly some valid arguments, and I've been very clear on what those arguments are. But I have to be very honest with this anti-Semitic crap. I have to be very honest. And maybe Nick Fuentes and Dan Bilzerian and people who are more extreme than me will disagree. I'm not sure. But I believe Dan Bilzerian had Jewish business partners. I don't know what Nick would do. But if I came to film a movie in Hollywood, in a movie studio, and I got paid $100 million and I'm making a movie, and halfway through I find out that one of the 300 people who work for the film crew is Jewish, am I supposed to stop making the movie? Because according to the anti-Semitics on the internet, I should instantly do a salute and walk off and give all the money back. And it's very interesting these people pretend to have these views because none of these people have suffered for their views. They don't even have real accounts. They don't even have their face or their name on their account. They haven't been to jail. They haven't been locked in their house. They haven't had death threats. They haven't had the government try and take their children from them. They haven't had all of their money stolen. They haven't had anything bad happen to them, but they expect you as a famous person to martyr yourself. And I guess the real question is, do they actually genuinely expect that, or do they just want that? When they say, Andrew, you should have doubled down, you should have done a salute. When they asked, you should have gone up to the Miami mayor and said, Hail Hitler. And, I'm going to kill every Jew I see. That's what you should have done, Andrew, or you sold out. They don't expect that. They want it because it's entertaining. We live in a world now where everyone is so bored and so numb, and watching a famous, important A-list celebrity like myself martyr himself. For the same reason I'd have a huge stream if I set myself on fire. Hi, guys. Decided to commit suicide today. I'm going to set myself on fire. I'd break the records. So they want me to go out and commit suicide. And I have to be honest, although I think the ADL have too much influence, although I disagree with everything the Israeli government have done, although I think the genocide in Palestine was one of the most disgusting things we've ever seen, if I was filming a movie with 300 film crew and one of them was Jewish, no, I wouldn't quit the movie. If a man comes up to me and shows me respect and he's Jewish, I'm not going to punch him in the face. I'm going to treat him with respect because he shows me respect. Perhaps I'm not anti-Semitic enough for the internet anymore. I don't know. But I'm not going to change and bend on my views because there's a whole bunch of people who think I should. And I'd like to actually talk to Nick about this and understand his point of view on this. I wonder what he would do in those scenarios. But I'm a big person. And I'm not an internet streaming clown. I'm a genuine A-list celebrity. In fact, I've been told multiple times by many different people that I am literally the most famous man in the world. I've been told that. I was the most Googled man in the world, and after being locked in my house for 3 years, I thought, everyone's over Andrew Tate. Maybe it's all over. No one cares. I can't go anywhere. If I walk down the street, I am flooded in every city on the planet, everywhere I go. Today I met Chinese Trump. You've seen Chinese Trump?
No.
No, he's a Chinese guy who does Trump impressions. I just met him coincidentally here in LA. And he says, you have no idea how famous you are in China. I was like, in China? He goes, no Westerners are famous in China, but you are. It's like, am I? I met Steven Seagal's son, who told me that his school project, or the school project of all the young men in his school, was about me. And he goes to school in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Like, I can't go anywhere. So I am literally one of the most famous people on the planet. I'm not some nobody streamer who can do these silly things. I have very important things going on. I make hundreds of millions of dollars. I have to work with all sorts of people. And some of them are Jewish. That's fine. They know my point of view on Israel. They know my point of view on the genocide. They know my point of view on the ADL. But business is business, and they're like, okay, yeah, whatever. You have your point of view, I have my point of view. We're all intelligent adults. We're rational. I disagree with them on loads. They disagree with me on loads. We get things done. If I start walking around attacking Jewish people, how the fuck does that work? That's not even rational. Someone said to me, they said, Andrew, Dubai, the UAE, allows Jews into the country, and they have an embassy for Israel. So you can either be the UAE and get business done while publicly opposing the Israeli government and get things done and be a rational actor, or you can be some extreme country, which makes you a poor little shithole. And I think these streamers just have nothing to lose. They don't understand how the world works. They're not actually famous like I am. They haven't been around enough or been offered anything of significance to truly understand how you must negotiate life as a man, and they've not suffered for their views. If these people online screaming "Hail Hitler" every 5 seconds and doing the Hitler salute and saying we need to gas all the Jews, if any of them mattered, they wouldn't be online anymore.
But do you not think Nick Fuentes has suffered for his views?
Absolutely he has. Nick is someone who has suffered, which is why I respect Nick, which is why Nick, after the outrage of this little clip, said, I totally understand Andrew's position, because Nick is a smart person. But then there were some other streamers who were pretending that what I did was somehow wrong. But that's because they're nobodies. Nobodies, of course, have a view. But Nick seems to understand me quite well, and he's the most famous anti-Semite of all. And even he is saying, I understand Andrew's position. And he has suffered for his views, of course. But even Nick is not that extreme. Nick tells people on his show, don't go around screaming, kill all the Jews. Don't go around saying Hitler. Don't let everyone know at your university you're an anti-Semite. That's not intelligent. That's not smart. Whereas other streamers are saying, no, you need to tell them all to fuck off all the time. You can't win that way. You know, when you're actually a really important person in a culture war, and I am one of them, you win the culture war by pointing everyone in the correct direction and allowing momentum to do the rest. It is my job as the most followed man on the planet to 1% point in a direction. The matrix is controlling your life. And I get people to think about it, and then they research, and then they work it out themselves. If I don't allow people to work it out themselves, and instead I explain it all, I get shot in the head. Then I can't help anybody. To win the war, it's my job to point people in the right direction and let them do the rest. Now, some of those people who are pointed in the right direction are so silly and so stupid and so treacherous, they will now turn around and yell at me, hey, you showed me the beginning, but you didn't show me the end. You're a traitor. You're a sellout. I showed you the beginning. Do you understand? If I show you all of it, I die and I can't show anyone else the beginning. People have died for far less. I know at the bottom and the top. We just saw Charlie Kirk eat a fucking bullet. They tried to put a bullet in Trump. You think they're not going to try and put a bullet in me? You think they're not already considering it or planning it or thinking about it currently as we sit here right now? So for anyone who sits and believes I should martyr myself and I should just go as extreme as possible and anything to not sell out as they sit there as a nobody, they don't even understand the war. I am smart enough, and I always have been smart enough to know when somebody who is risking everything to give me a hint is doing something they don't have to do. And I understood they were on the right side of the fight because I could just shut the fuck up and say nothing at all.
And so many people have.
And most people have. 99.9% of people have. Like, honestly, I get more attention on the street and I'm more well known than nearly every single movie star. It's the Grammys now. You get the list of everyone at the Grammys. Brad Pitt, George Clooney, cool. The rest of them, I don't know who the fuck they are. I don't know who these celebrities are. They say, hey, this celebrity said this, or this celebrity's dating this person. I don't know who these people are. There are too many movies. There are too many Netflix shows. Everyone's in a fucking movie. No one even knows. None of these people even matter. Why are they in movies and I'm not? Because they shut the fuck up. Why am I not the face of a fragrance or a clothing brand? I'm the right demographic. All the young boys love me. There'll be billions of generated dollars. Why? Because I won't shut the fuck up. So I'm turning away billions of dollars, and some dipshit's going to sit there and go, you sold out, bro. It's like, you know, the sad thing about it, truthfully, Jack, when that happens, you start to understand why everyone sells out. You start to sit there and go, what the fuck am I fighting for? Why am I trying to help these clowns? I show them the beginning. I was the one who woke the world up only 2 years ago. It was me. I went to jail for it. I suffered for it. Me, alone, by myself. I did it. And now they're saying, you showed me the beginning, but not the end because you're a traitor.
You can't show the end.
I can't show the end. Not that I don't know the end. I can't show the end. I know so much more than I can say. But if I say it, we're going to lose. Because unless I keep showing people the beginning, the war's over. And they're going to put a bullet in me. So it makes me sit and calculate all the money I've turned down, all the beautiful red carpet events, all the pussy I could have fucked, all the fun I could have had. Could have been on fucking Jeff Bezos's fucking yacht. Could have done all these things. I've done none of it because I wanted to point people in the right direction. And what thanks do I get? What thanks do I get when I finally fly to America after a year and I meet up with a couple guys and they play a silly song. And instead of saying, yeah, gas all the Jews, I sit and say, look, I understand why the song's offended some people. I didn't play it. I didn't actually play the song. Don't you think everyone panicking about this song just proves the Jews have power? You're a sellout. It makes you think, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sell out. You know what would teach the world a lesson, Jack? If I sold out. If tomorrow I took a $500 million check and went and made Hollywood movies and just deleted Twitter and then let all these poor people watch my movies and pay me more money while having their opinions on me. And I can wear Versace. I can fuck hoes and spray champagne. I'll show you sellout. Continue, world. And I'll show you sellout. I was the first and original freedom fighter. And thinking these stupid dipshit nobody streamers who aren't A-list famous, who no one gives a fuck about them, who just sit on a stream and run their mouths and have to be controversial to even get any views, thinking they are moving the needle is the biggest mistake you can make because they're not moving any fucking needles. I've had conversations in private rooms off camera that have moved the needle more than these clowns will ever move in their fucking lives.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And I'm honestly, to prove your point further, I'm a little surprised at some of the things you've said thus far in terms of how much risk I know it puts you at. In doing this podcast, like, I'll transparently admit that I'm, like, a lot of people don't share the full truth because I do full research, you know? And you're one of the few people who does, at least gives hints, you know? Our last episode, I don't know if you recall this, but I asked you if you knew who was really in power, would you say it? And you kind of paused a bit, but Tristan said it, you know? And that was the first time I'd ever heard anything about this certain thing going on.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask you, all the hate I'm seeing is people are saying you sold Sneeko out, saying that Sneeko was the person who played the song in the club. And I thought that was a little out of character for you, but with everything you've just said, having been through a lot, it's just kind of like, let me avoid another tragedy.
Yeah, the problem with talking about him is he likes it because he needs it for his stream. So he's going to take this clip and he's going to sit on his stream to his few viewers and he's going to make a big deal of it. First things first, I don't think I sold him out, and I'll tell you why. Firstly, he hasn't been my friend for a very long time. He's not my boy. He's not like Tristan. You know, I hung out with him years ago when he was emulating me, trying to be me, desperately. I made his career by speaking to him. Otherwise, he would have stayed a nobody forever. Instead of showing me thanks for that, he started, every time I wouldn't reply to his texts, go on stream and cry in some way and complain about me. It was very bitchy. It was very weird. Like, he'd beg to be my friend one side and then do a stream insulting me the next side. Back and forth, anything for views. Very strange. And I'm not the only person he did it to. And then I said to Tristan, anyone who names themselves Sneeko, like, you're naming yourself Sneaky. Imagine I was saying, hey, my name's Rat. It's a fucking shit name, and it's weird. So I was like, you know, I'm not going to talk to him anymore. So I didn't talk to him for 4 long years. I'm going to avoid this guy because he's just weird. And then I get to Miami, I speak to Clav, and Clav is with Nick Fuentes, and he begs for Sneeko to come. And I said, Sneeko's weird. Begs and begs and begs. Here we are. Who's on the internet insulting me? Sneaky. Sneaky's now on the internet with an opinion. Luckily, he doesn't matter. Sneaky doesn't matter. When this controversy's over, he's going to have to go back to making videos no one watches and trying to find some other controversy. He's not in business. He's not making any money. He's not close to the Trump family. He's not moving politics. He's not, no Hollywood actor wants him. He isn't connected to the royal family in Dubai. He isn't doing anything. He's not in a position where if he says the wrong thing, the royal family in Dubai will say, sorry, you can't have your political protection and your golden visa. Sorry, we can't give you the Emirati passport anymore. Like, he's at such a low level. He doesn't even contemplate the world above him. He doesn't understand why some people can't do what he's doing because he doesn't matter. So I don't think I sold him out. I was told he played the song because Justin and I were playing country music, and then Justin's phone got taken off him and the song was put on. Everyone said Sneeko put it on. So when I went there, I said, well, I didn't put on the song. Sneeko put it on. I mean, there's no point in trying to hide who put on the song. It's on fucking camera who put on the song. If it wasn't him who put on the song, then I was incorrectly informed. As if I give a fuck anyway. It doesn't matter who put on the song because it wasn't me, right? Why did I not play the song? Truthfully, it didn't cross my mind. I guess I didn't sit there thinking, I need to entertain the public. Let me do something outlandish. It just didn't cross my mind to do something like that. But one of the people played the song, and it wasn't me. I believed, and I was told it was Sneeko. I'm still pretty sure it is Sneeko, unless you're about to say we've checked the footage and it's someone else. I still think it's Sneeko. So I said, Sneeko played the song. Invite Sneeko on here to defend himself. I don't think that's selling him out. He's a full-grown man. He's a big guy. Big tough Sneeko has so much to say about me. Go defend yourself on the podcast. But he doesn't want to defend himself. He wants me to defend him for him, and me to risk everything for him, and me to deal with all the political problems from different administrations around the world, and for me to go to a court in England and be facing hate speech charges for 5 years in jail for him. And if I go jail, will he write to me? No. He'll go on stream and go, Andrew's in jail. Because he sits there in front of me like a little puppy dog, begging me for advice. And then the second he's on a stream, he tries to make fun of me. Because his name's Sneaky. So I didn't want to see him. Clav begged me. And you know what, Jack? It's the story of my life. I'm too nice. I was like, fucking, he's a fucking retard. Fine. Here we are. So.
Yeah, I think from my assessment, I've had all these guys on the podcast, except for Sneeko. And
he'll come here and say nice podcast. Then he'll do a stream saying it was a shit podcast. The guy's a weirdo. You'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's fucking weird, bro.
I will say I think Clav has enough respect for you that I do not think it would be him, because I know Clav very personally.
Yeah.
And then everyone else, it wouldn't make any sense. Nick as well. So it checks out. But did you have a conversation with Ye about what happened at the club in Miami?
I don't think he's happy about it, from what I've heard. I'm not going to say I spoke to him directly. Even if I did speak to him directly, I would not say that I spoke to him directly, read between the lines, but he wouldn't be happy about that. Isn't it interesting that people who are truly at the top of A-list fame, like Kanye, eventually realize that they're going to get in a new form? They're not going to be able to enjoy oxygen for much longer if they continue down the path they're on. Myself, Kanye, etc. And if you're truly smart, let's do a thought experiment. If I was a nobody account or a nobody on the internet or a retard called Sneaky, and it was my intention to convince everybody in the world that there was a particular group of people that had nearly unlimited power in Western society, surely I'd be very thankful for the A-list celebrities, which are 10,000 times larger than me, who go to bat and point everyone in the right direction and then publicly say, I can't do this anymore for unknown reasons. Aren't we helping you? Aren't we showing that your theory is correct? Oh, no. I guess what we should have done is not mention anything at all and be rich and famous, more rich and famous than we currently are, or just go to the end where we get shot in the head. People at home with a brain need to sit and go, you know what? If they start the conversation and then abruptly stop the conversation, they're actually helping our conversation. Kanye helped because now he's supposedly spoke to someone, because he didn't speak to me, saying, that doesn't help anything. I've done my bit and I don't want that song played anymore. He has his reasons. I have my reasons to not go up there and be extreme. Now, I'm not going to kiss the wall. If they say kiss the wall or we'll kill you, then they're going to kill me, because I'm a man and I have limits, right? Everyone in life has limits. It's like I wouldn't let robbers, my girlfriend, kill me. There's limits. I'm not going to kiss the fucking wall. I'm not going to fucking go there. I'm not going to start praising their government. Fuck them and fuck their government. Fuck all that. But there does get to a point where the risk reward just ain't there, right? Saying I'm doing 99% right, but there's this last 1% of extremism that definitely gets me killed. 100% death. And then you hold your daughter, who's 5 years old or whatever, and you're like, is this to please who? Sneaky? Fuck him. Right? So Kanye isn't happy about that song being played. Let's sit here as intelligent people and say, why would he not be happy about his song in a club? Maybe something happens behind the scenes, which means whoever's doing things behind the scenes has shadow power, perhaps. Anyone with a brain can see that. But of course, you know what most people will say? They'll say he's sold out. They'll say he's a sellout.
If you've never played chess, it's hard to see if other people are playing it.
Absolutely. Most people, the reason, if there was a shadow cabal in charge of the world, the reason they get away with it is because people are fucking retards, bro. People are fucking retards. Anyone who thinks I sold out is a fucking retard. Retard. And the worst thing about it is it only encourages you to sell out. It encourages you to sell out. It encourages you to take the money, enjoy your life, and let everyone else suffer. Let them stay broke, unknown, insignificant. Let them be controlled by the Matrix. Let them have a shit life. Go on my yacht and have a great time. That's what it convinces you to do.
I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but to give people context as well on why you're kind of denying involvement with the whole playing of the song, what's your current legal case in 2026?
Yeah, so my current legal situation is precarious. In Romania, the case against me is technically open. It was actually thrown out in December of 2023. A judge ruled there was no evidence to take me to trial. So after all the imprisonment, all the house arrest, all the media slander, all the asset seizures, I couldn't see my mom when she had a heart attack. They tried to take my kids off me. After all of that, they said, oh, there's not enough evidence here for a trial. And they threw the case out. 2 months later, in February, I was given my passport. But I remain on bail, and the case remains open. Even though it was rejected, it was given back to the prosecutor. And they said, if you can find evidence or fix it, we'll take it to trial. So it sat on a prosecutor's desk for a year. God knows. But at any point, they can revoke my passport. So if I say something too extreme online, they can go in front of a judge and they can play it to the judge and say, look, he's an extremist. And they can revoke my passport. Not a lot of people understand that the European Union does not have free speech laws. Romania does not have free speech laws. All of the EU, they'll lock you up for a tweet. So if you sit on a video and say, we should gas all the Chinese, they can show a judge, take your passport instantly, and lock you in your house. And after 4 years in my house without trial, it seems they can do it indefinitely. It seems. Then the UK have a warrant out for my arrest, which will be executed when the Romanian case eventually closes. God knows when. Because supposedly I assaulted someone in 2009. Who? Dunno. Where? Dunno. When? Dunno. 2009 assault. Defend yourself. Okay, who? Can't tell you. Where? Can't tell you. When? Can't tell you. Well, how do I find these things out? Just come to England. Yeah, no. So that's that. Also, conveniently, very strange that Tristan also assaulted someone in 2009. So we both have the same warrant. Isn't that a convenient, isn't that a coincidence that we're just running around in 2009? No, they want to get the Tate brothers off the internet. It was actually the Romanian government cucking to the British in the first place that got us arrested. The British labeled us a national security threat in 2022 when I was the most Googled man in the world. They said that I was an unchecked source of influence and that at the time I could have tweeted a time and a date and a place and people would have turned up and rioted. And I had young men under my thrall, under my control so heavily that I was a threat to national security. And they wrote to the Romanians saying he's a threat to national security, do something about it. And that was the basis of all my case. So it wasn't even the Romanians that were ever against me. They were just the executioner. They were the attack dog, but the attack dog was let go by the British. MI6 are who hit me, and they're still trying to get me. So I have a British warrant, and I have a Romanian warrant. In America, I have no problems, besides a nightclub video. But that's the current status of my legal cases. So, of course, very much like the Romanians can instantly revoke my bail and take my passport, if I said anything extreme against any particular group of people, that's hate speech, which is instantly 5 years in jail. Eventually, someday, I'm going to be in a British court. And they're going to play all of my podcasts back in front of a judge, because they always do. If I sit and say women can't drive, they're going to play it back. He's a misogynist. This podcast will be seen by judges and prosecutors. In fact, hello, future Andrew. I know you're standing there right now, smiling. I'm going to stand in court, and they're going to play this to me. So if I go on a podcast after a nightclub incident, and start going, fucking kill everyone. I mean, I guess the internet expects me to just go to jail for a decade and just sit in a room by myself. What, for clout? Yeah, at least the guys on the internet like me. The guys on the internet will forget about me. They won't give a fuck.
It seems to me, Andrew, that after doing this podcast for a while, the one thing that people are not allowed to say is they're not allowed to incite violence in any way. Yeah. And that seems to be the thing that they're afraid of. Would you say that's mostly true?
I'd say that's mostly true, but unfortunately it's open-ended. So if you make a law saying you can't incite violence, they can interpret that any way possible, because you can now just insult someone and they can say that you're trying to dehumanize them or make people feel a certain way about them so that you do incite violence against them. So it's such an open-ended...
Is that why the song freaked you out particularly?
The song didn't even freak me out. The thing that's crazy is when the song came on, if you watch the stream, I didn't even give a fuck. I didn't run away. I didn't hide my face. I just stood there like, whatever. Like, even in my position, knowing the trouble it will get me in, I still bossed it. Right? Remember, if Sneaky was in my position, he would have killed himself by now. He wouldn't be able to take the pressure. He would have literally killed himself a long time ago if he had gone through a fraction of what I'd gone through. So I didn't run away, didn't punk out. I just stood there like, whatever. But if someone's going to say, you played the song. No, I didn't play the song. And I'm going to have it documented on video that I did not play the song. So that when I go to court and the prosecutor says he played the song, put him in jail, I'm going to say, no, I didn't. I always said I didn't. I've never played the song, so I don't need 5 years in jail. Your Honor. I'm not doing 5 years in jail for Sneaky, bro. Fuck him. He can do his own jail. I don't even like him. Nobody likes him. Everyone I talk to about him says the same thing. His friends who he's with, no one likes that guy. And it's because he has this pattern of behavior, and it's not only me, he does it to everybody. So, yeah, I have a lot of guns aimed at my head, still to this day. And it's interesting considering I've never been convicted of any crime, and I actually never did anything wrong. We're in LA right now, right? We could walk out this door and drive for about 10 minutes in any direction and find a ketamine-fueled orgy. We could find women getting gangbanged. We could find dudes fucking each other. You could find people doing all sorts of insanity. None of them are being arrested. None of them are being called sexual criminals. None of them are being targeted by the state. But I am. 2009. Assault. No, it's because I speak on the internet and I make young men stick up for themselves. And they know, they are very aware that they are trying to destroy Western society. They're trying to print as much money as possible so they can steal it. They're trying to bring in as many immigrants as possible to distract us so we fight against each other while they all escape on their life rafts. And they know that young men are the only ones who are going to stand up against them. And telling them to be strong and think for themselves is a national security threat. They're actually right. I'll admit my enemy is correct. Not so much now, but in 2022, I was a national security threat. I could have said burn down Westminster and it would have burnt down. And if you watch my videos and the way I talk on the internet and you knew I had that much power, any prudent, intelligent MI6 officer would conclude that I had to be stopped. So I'm not even mad at my enemy. I'm so logical. It's like the mafia. When the mafia put a hit on your boy and they kill him and you're like, it's business. I get it. I'm glad they didn't kill me. And maybe they will, but they could have. If I had been this powerful against Putin in Russia, I'd be dead. MBS in Saudi dead. Erdogan in Turkey dead. Xi in China dead. I'm lucky they just locked me up a little bit. But it's a game we have to play. There's power dynamics and all these things. Even the mafia respect the police. And the police respect the mafia. Watch the movies. They actually understand each other. They're like, you're on that side, I'm on this side. But it's war. And there's rules to war. And we get it. And you're going to do your bit, and I'm going to do my bit, and we're both going to try and win. But there's rules to a degree, and we actually have a healthy respect for each other. That's what it's like with people at the top against the system, against the matrix. That's what it's like for me. I understand why they do what they do. I don't hate them, and they don't hate me. A wolf doesn't hate a rabbit, but there's guaranteed to be violence between the two. It's just human nature. If two lions see each other, they may not hate each other, but look, there's a certain amount of territory here. There's a certain amount of mind space in the cerebrum of young men in the Western society, and you're taking too much territory. You've taken too much land. So now we're going to fight over this land. It's not personal. This is just territorial dispute. It's how it goes. Between gangs is the same. People at the bottom don't understand these things. I know why they hit me. And I think that they were correct to hit me, not because I've done anything wrong, not because I was going to do anything wrong, but based on a completely pragmatic, emotionless analysis of the situation at the time. If I was the MI6 officer watching Andrew Tate scream the way I scream on videos, saying the things I say, understanding the power I had, I would not be a very good MI6 officer unless I said, let's construct a case and put him in a fucking cell.
I do want to speak to that specific point you made more, but I do want to ask, as far as the accusations go of some of the women, do any of these particularly sting you? Like, are there any that you're surprised about?
No, it's all made up. It's all made up. There's very few actual genuine accusations. And because I'm a misogynist, may as well admit it because they keep calling me one. I don't expect. I mean, how much loyalty can I expect from a woman? Once again, I'm pragmatic. Many people, when they're in a position, because they want it to be different, they're very emotional about it. That's not me. I'm a full-grown man, so I'm approaching this, removing my personal feelings from it. A girl is approached by federal agencies. A girl who I knew 12 years ago. She's now moved on, and she has a new man. Her new man doesn't know I fucked her left and right all over the place. She has kids. She has a simple but fairly happy little life. She's not even attractive anymore. She's a bit fat, smokes too many cigarettes, whatever. She finally gets dragged into a room with federal operatives. And they're like, we know you used to know Andrew Tate. And she's like, shit, I don't even want anyone to know this. Yeah, so he's a bad guy. Well, he was good to me. No, he's not good to you. He hurts people. Well, he didn't hurt me. Are you defending him? Well, I'm just saying he didn't hurt me. Okay, but we need to understand who's defending him and who isn't. Well, I'm not defending him. I'm just saying he didn't hurt me. Okay, because you know there's going to be a public trial coming up. And if you're defending him, over 6 hours, they pressure this person into eventually saying, yes, he yelled at me. Assault 2009. Whatever. Give me the pen. Because Andrew's rich and famous. He doesn't give me any money. Andrew's forgotten about me. I tried to text him 100 times. He doesn't reply. Why am I going to defend Andrew and lose my husband? Why am I going to ruin my relationship? Why am I wasting my day with the police? Why am I going through any of this for Andrew? He doesn't even remember who the fuck I am. Andrew slept with thousands of women. He doesn't even know who I am anymore. Just give me the piece of paper. Just sign. Logically, me as a man, can I really expect her as some random chick to sit there and go, no, I stand on my principles. Andrew never hurt me. No, of course not. This is the real world. Your friends will sell you out, bro. You can go to a fucking club with some nobody and be nice to him to give him clicks for his fucking shit streams and he'll sell you out. Let alone some bitch you fucked 10 years ago. So am I sad that some silly bimbo got convinced by world-level psychologists and federal agencies to lie? Truthfully, it's like, well, duh. It's like being sad about the rain. It's like, I don't want it to rain, but it rains and now I'm wet.
You know, I had a Russian sex spy, a former, on the podcast, and I was asking her, like, did you ever have to get rid of a woman so you could approach a target? She's like, oh yeah, it's the easiest part of it.
Yeah.
You just go to a bar with her and then you take a photo of her and send it to the guy, or you just give her money. She said that's the easiest part of the job by far. Yeah. So it just speaks to the fact that it's fairly easy to compromise someone.
Women are not physically strong. And when you're not physically strong, that reflects your mentality. You're not prepared to sit there and argue with big, strong men with guns when you know you're physically weak to defend somebody you no longer speak to. It's just, women are weak and you can just bend them into things. You can force them into things. You're the fucking cops, bro. You can put people in jail. You think you can't get some chick in there and scare her? Of course you can. And I don't expect any of these women to be strong enough to tell them to get fucked. Now, some women did. Some women called me up and goes, I was just with the police for 8 hours. And for 8 hours, I told them to fuck off. And I was like, well, you're a legend. But most women aren't going to do that. Some women do. But that's why it's a numbers game. They call 1,000 women. They only need one. I mean, if you call 1,000 women and ask who is an angel, literally, do you believe you're an angel from heaven or do you believe you were born from your mother? Think about it for a day. I'll call you back tomorrow. If you call 1,000, one of them will go, you know what? I've actually been thinking about it and I've been thinking about my experiences in life. And you know what? Maybe I am an angel. Literally. You could find a woman, if you call 1,000 of them, to admit she's a fucking fruit salad, bruv. Anything. So all you have to do is get one of them to what? Not get one of them to break in an 8-hour interrogation. This is why the police do it, because they know they get what they want. They always get what they want. They could do it to you. The second you piss them off, they just get a list of chicks and lean on them and get what they want. Everyone knows this. They did it with Trump. To our president, they found E. Jean Carroll, a psycho who admits, I don't remember the rape, but I remember being raped. What the fuck are we talking about? Convicted him, started calling him a felon. Like, on what planet are we? We all know that's bullshit, but they still do it. And people still sit there and go, oh my God, he's accused of... Fucking clown show.
Everyone has an accusation except for Nick Fuentes, and he's a virgin, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the reasons, probably the only reason Nick is still on the internet is because he avoids women. Because if he had had a sexual history by now, they would have caught him. Nick's problem is that you get 3 lives. The first life is to cancel you. They've already canceled him. But now he's kind of back. So he did good. But they canceled me and I came back. I invented coming back from cancellation. I was the first motherfucker to ever get canceled and get bigger. First one. Nick got canceled, didn't get bigger. He disappeared for a long time. I got canceled and got bigger. Realest nigger alive. I invented that. Second, they try and put you in jail. Third, they kill you. The problem that Nick has, and I actually really like Nick, is that if his taxes are in order and he ain't touching women, they haven't got much they can get him with on stage 2. And that doesn't mean they let you off. That means they skip stage 2 and they just kill you. Let's talk about Charlie Kirk. Why did they not just put him in jail? Because no one's going to believe Trump's DOJ prosecuting Charlie Kirk. Doesn't make sense. He's Trump's friend. Why would the Department of Justice try and prosecute Charlie Kirk? He's squeaky clean. taxes paid. He's not like me. I made it easy for them. He's fucked 1,000 women. Call him up. Get him. Right? He ain't fucked 1,000 bitches. He ain't running around fucking with all these girlfriends like me. They went through his life. How are we going to get him in jail? How are we going to get him in jail? How are we going to get him in jail? You know what? There's literally nothing here. Next. Bang. I'm lucky with me. I gave them the layup. If I had lived squeaky clean like a dummy, if I had done everything right, they would have just killed me. But instead, they're like, we have to fix this Andrew Tate problem. Killing people is messy, and it makes them a martyr. It can make them bigger. And even as a government, killing someone in another country, even the Brits killing someone in Romania, I know how this stuff works. Trust me. They have to speak to the Romanian government. They have to try and clear it all. They have to understand their agent might get arrested. Then there's an international incident to get him out. Even the Russians, when they killed that guy in Germany, you can look it up. He got arrested. He was in jail for 3 years before Putin could swap him. The governments, when it comes to personal assassinations outside of drone strikes in third world countries, even they don't like to really do it. Macron could kill Candace, but even he is like on American soil, an American citizen. It's still a big deal for a government. So when they said, let's get rid of Andrew Tate, our options are to kill him or put him in jail. Well, let's see how we can put him in jail. And they looked for 10 seconds and like, oh, fucking hell, he's going to fucking treasure trove. He was a fucking fighter. He sold weed when he was 18. He's fucked every girl he fucking could. He was running around drunk. He fucking drove cars too fast. Fuck this guy. Just fucking get him. I gave it to him on a plate. I'm not stupid. I know I did. Of course I gave it to him on a plate. I fucked everyone. So Nick's problem is he hasn't given it to him on a plate. Because people talk about my human trafficking accusations. You can look it up right now. The British government took 3.2 million pounds of my money for tax evasion, too. So they got me for that. They get me for this. And it's like, just fucking get him. And I just keep giving it to him, laying it up. I'm a dumbass. So, but it saved me, or I would be dead. Nick's problem, and I really care about Nick, is that it's almost like, I have lots of businesses. And I have a restaurant. And in my restaurant, I let my staff steal a little. Because if I let them steal none, they quit. And if I let them steal too much, I don't make any money. So I make sure that I allow them to steal enough so that they feel happy to go to work and they think they're winning. But I am also on it enough to stop them stealing so much I don't make profit. Like you have to give you have to give a little. If you're too strict, it gets worse. And I gave the enemy the second strike, and Nick didn't, or he hasn't, or he won't, or he can't. And Charlie didn't, and we look what happened to him. So I'm worried about Nick. I'm actually genuinely worried about Nick. And I think that Nick is smart enough also to worry about himself.
Why do you think Charlie Kirk was assassinated? Do you think it was because of feminism?
Let's talk as professionals here. Sorry for the pause. I'm just scanning what's going to keep me alive. So I know who killed him. And the only person who is overtly giving theories as to who killed him publicly is Candace. The reason Candace is breathing is because she is a woman and because she is black. And the people in charge have thought, they've concluded, you know what? Let a black woman scream. Most people will, even if they listen to her, it's a black chick and we're just going to let her scream into the air and we'll just put it down to black female hysterical action. So we'll just put it down to that.
You think that's it?
Yeah. We'll get some bots on Twitter and we'll get everyone to call her crazy and we'll pretend she's hysterical and we'll push all of this narrative that she's nuts with some paid influencers. And we're going to get everyone to call her crazy, even if she's right on the fucking money, even if she gets it perfectly right. Even in one of her episodes, if she describes it perfect, we're just going to convince everyone she's nuts because she's a black chick and we can convince people that she's just hysterical, like the Walmart ran out of fucking cocoa butter and she's mad. So let's just do that. If you're a man in a sharp suit like yours, or if I put a suit on and I sit there and I break it down in a very logical, there still is that degree of misogyny in the world where a man is taken a little bit more seriously with some things. And then if you get it directly on the money with a different tone and they can't really call you crazy, if you don't give them the second life, if you don't give them an easy layup, well, then you pay the price. That's the first thing to analyze. Now let's analyze a couple other things. It's not my job to say who killed Charlie. It's the job of our agencies, which we subsidize with our taxes, our tax money, to convince me that they know who killed Charlie. Not just to say who killed Charlie, but it is your job to convince me that what you are saying is the truth. The Magna Carta says, not only will justice be done, justice must seem to be done. That is the basis of Western law. Not only do we operate from a place of justice, but people at home see and experience the justice. I am giving millions or billions of dollars, or the American public are giving billions of dollars to agencies whose job it is to find out what happened, tell us what happened, and punish the person who did it. Now, if nobody believes their story, that is very detrimental to the faith in public institutions, and it is the faith in public institutions which keep a democracy functioning. We believe in elections because we believe they're fair. We go to court because we believe it's fair. Otherwise, it breaks down into Mogadishu. Otherwise, it's AK-47s and machetes. If you believe you don't get a fair chance in court, you just kill your enemy. The fuck are we going to talk about? So it is their job to make us believe them and have trust in them. And nobody believes the story, and they're not coming out to publicly disavow the other theories. They're not coming out to show evidence to prove that they told the truth. They're not coming out to stand up and double down and say, no, you guys are wrong, we got it right, this was our friend, this is important. That's their job, and they're not. I mean, if I was in charge of an agency and nobody believed me and I knew I was telling the truth, I'd make them believe me. Weird. I don't know. It's just a theory of mine. Strange. And the third thing I want to talk about is that Charlie undoubtedly was going to be president, and he was undoubtedly massively influential. And he had an influence different than these streamers and clowns.
Did you see him as influential? Because that's the point I want to touch on, is everyone I asked is like, you're influential. Charlie's not influential. He makes a certain set of people mad, but he's not our hero.
Correct. I am more influential in the hearts and minds of young men than Charlie ever was. True, but Charlie could do something that a lot of streamers can't do. I can do it, but most streamers can't. And what he could do, and this is very important, he could operate in the physical realm. He could force people to be kinetic. He could get people to go to a place. You think that's a small thing. If Sneaky said, hey guys, come here, no one's going to go. 3 people will go. 10 people will go. No one gives a fuck. Fuck you. But if I say, guys, I can fill a stadium, Charlie can fill a stadium. A stadium is an army. When you can make people move from their seats, when you can shake people out of apathy, you have a different level of power. You have a different level of influence. And Charlie could undoubtedly do that across the country. So Charlie was very influential in that regard. And when you look at Charlie Kirk and what happened to him, you have to understand that every single thing that happens in the world is simply just an endless battle, a never-ending tapestry. It's like the food chain where the fish eats the slug and the shark eats the fish and the alligator doesn't normally eat sharks, but fuck him. It's constantly everyone after each other in a battle for influence. The media is trying to influence you of things. Advertising is trying to influence you of things. Streamers are trying to influence you of things. Celebrities have their points of view. The label on this bottle, exquisite effervescence, is trying to convince you of something. It's all a battle for influence all of the time. And if you're a true power player, you have influence. I had more influence over the young men than the BBC. If the BBC said do something, they didn't listen. If I said do something, they did listen. So they hit me. So Charlie had influence. And everyone who didn't like or was threatened by what he was about to say, or how he was about to use, or how he was currently using his influence, wanted him gone. It's all just an influence battle. Charlie was an influential person, and that's why he's dead. So to get to the bottom of who shot him in the neck, the question is, who was threatened by, or was soon to be threatened by, what he was doing and saying? And if you work that out, you can get to the bottom of it. Funnily enough, in a lot of these scenarios, people go, liberals.
Sorry to interrupt, but if you're a fan of this podcast and want to support real free speech, I just launched a Patreon for the channel. If you join, you get access to all my episodes early and ad-free, as well as the chance to ask each guest a question on my show. We also have some cool behind-the-scenes footage, as well as some unreleased episodes, but if you guys want to check it out, just go to jackneel.com/Patreon, or you can scan the QR code on screen. For the first 300 people, you get a 70% discount, so sign up quickly. And look, I get it. If you're someone who doesn't want to pay money for extra content or podcasts that are ad-free, I have a little gift for you. If you go on the Patreon right now for free, you can get an extra 5-minute segment from this podcast. I asked Tate, do you think AI is going to kill us all? And his answer is pretty interesting. Again, guys, jackneel.com/Patreon. Scan the QR code on screen. But anyway, back to the podcast.
Liberals aren't threatened by us. Liberals like the fight. They like arguing with us. Liberals like feeling like they're somebody. Liberals are the most argumentative, mentally ill retards on the planet. If you put 10 liberals in a room, all they're going to do is fight against each other because someone's going to accidentally forget to use a pronoun. But they'll all ally against you. Liberals need you and they need me. Liberals need Charlie so they can stay friends. Liberals need the common enemy. Liberals don't want to get rid of their enemies. They want to sit and argue with their enemies. They want to feel important. They want to feel morally superior. Liberals aren't out to kill important conservative figures. Personally, I mean, I know they're saying it was some liberal, some guy. Thought experiment.
Maybe not.
I mean, let's look at the Butler, Pennsylvania story. That dude got up on the roof with the rifle, faggot on the roof. I made a joke of it, and he in front of the Secret Service, and he just put his rifle together and just tried to kill the president, and then they instantly blasted him after he pulled the trigger, so they were already aiming at him, and just some guy, and he was radicalized, and just some guy. It's all just a crock of shit. It's all just a lie. It's all just made up. And if I'm wrong, then the FBI or the DOJ or someone should stand up and say, here, Andrew, you're wrong. Here's why. And I should sit and go, oh, I understand now. Sorry. I apologize. I stand corrected. Not sit and go, everyone at home knows we're lying, but we can't risk telling any more details because they're going to work out we're lying even worse. So let's just let everybody not believe in us anymore. I mean,
let me ask you this, Andrew. In your position, do you find yourself more worried about a radicalized individual or like another group?
I am far more worried about a government action than a radicalized individual. I'm not worried about the person at home who decides to say, hey, Andrew Tate. No. And if I ever get killed by somebody who they say, we found on his computer a letter he wrote about how much he hated Andrew Tate. We found his passport in the wreckage. We found the passport. It's a fucking joke, bro. If I ever get killed by some individual who hates me, it was a government. Governments love the scapegoat. Like, let's imagine a group of people wanted to kill our president. They'd send some piece of shit up there to get blasted knowing he's going to die. They'd convince him to do it. And then they'd just blame it on some lone wolf. All the intelligence agencies on the planet are currently trying to recruit idiots to do things exactly like this. If you go to Turkey, or you go to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, any of these countries, and if you hung around there for a while, and if you knew the people I know, eventually you'd end up in conversations with people who would try and convince you to do extreme things, dangerous things. And they work for foreign intel agencies. Whether they work for the Ukrainians and want you to commit an act of atrocity against the Russians, like the Moscow attackers did not too long ago and killed all those people in the stadium, whether they work for the Russians and want you to commit an act of atrocity against the Ukrainians. And they'd convince you that you'd be paid well and you'd be a hero and you should do it. And they'd sit there and they'd try and find some guy who's half mentally ill or a little bit retarded or broke or desperate. Every intel agency on the planet as it currently stands is trying to recruit people specifically to do stupid things so they can blame that person after the action takes place. There are no lone wolves. This is all intel agencies. This is all they do. It's interesting because we can even look at Islamic terror. Mm-hmm. They don't blow themselves up. They find some young guy and convince him to go blow himself up. I thought you got a bunch of virgins. Like, I'm Muslim. I'm saying if you got a bunch of virgins for blowing yourself up, surely they'd be doing it themselves. Why are they convincing someone else to do it? This is the way the world works, right? So,
and how persuasive are they?
Unfortunately, you don't have to be that persuasive. Very much like my situation with the girls. It's a numbers game. You talk to 10,000 people, and eventually you find one, and you go, okay. If you can add in some psychiatric meds, if you can add in promises that they're going to make it out and they're going to be a hero and all these things, if you can add in fake friends, like I think they were saying that Tyler, who killed Charlie, was on Discord talking to his friends who were convincing him to do it. Were they friends? I mean, who were these people?
Did he ever even meet them?
Well,
yeah.
Have they ever been arrested? I don't know. So you add in a social circle, you add in some psychiatric meds, you add in a financial incentive. You usually get a love interest. You get some girl or someone. If you do this, you'll be my hero. You add some fucking little bit of basic ass pussy. You put it all together and you go to 10,000 retards. You get your guy. And the guy in Butler, Pennsylvania, for example, literally got blasted the second he pulled the trigger. Shot at Trump, bang. So they were already aiming at him. They just didn't want him to talk. You know the guy who killed JFK, Lee Harvey Oswald, killed? He was killed in jail. Did you know that?
And the guy who killed him
was killed in jail. So he was killed in jail, and the guy in jail who killed him was killed in jail. The chain, I mean... So I'm not worried about some lone actor, because if a lone actor kills me, and it makes the news, and they say the lone actor was watching many videos that said Andrew Tate is misogynist, a government did it. This whole lone actor crap, no, is all bullshit. I know there are groups of powerful people who are very concerned with the amount of influence I have over the world. And what I've tried to do is measure the risk-reward ratios. I've tried to sit down and think, okay, if I'm going to talk about certain subjects, how can I talk about them in a way where I can point people in the right direction so they can come to their own conclusions, but I don't cross the threshold where I need to die, but I can actually help the fight, even though they call me a fucking sellout. Or how I could talk about a subject and it pisses these people off, but it actually makes these other people happy with me, and that gives me some top cover there. So I can go to this country and live my life in peace, for example. It's complicated. Or I could shut up and I could spray cologne and take 200 million and just fuck Sydney Sweeney and just be a fucking A-list. I could just do that and stop getting called a sellout. If the people I've helped don't soon show some appreciation and gratitude, what I'm going to do for the plot, Jack, for the plot, is show them what a sellout. For the plot, I'm going to go do movies, take 500M and just fucking hang around with A-listers. When they go, Andrew Tate sold out, Andrew said, I'm going to retweet and go, yep. Tried to help you fucking idiots. Are you still poor? Are you still at home, broke? It seems so, because you weren't nice enough to me. I deserve gratitude for what I have done. I didn't have to do it. I was rich before I did it. I gave up my whole fucking life. And people need to start being nice to me. And if they don't, they're going to see what a sellout is. And I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to laugh the whole way. Because I'm not selling out in my heart. I'm just teaching them all a lesson. You know?
It's funny about this interview is yesterday. I'm not going to say too much about my experiences doing all this, but I'm sure I've had some experiences that you've had along the way in what you've been doing. And I was like, should I just quit all this? And then someone's like, Tate's in LA. And I was like, might as well have a conversation with him about it.
We're old friends. You know, I understand why the ruling elites treat us like they do. And it's truthfully because people are shit. Like an individual person is okay. We know individuals who are good, but en masse, people fucking suck, bro. And as you climb the ladder and get more and more attention from people, you see more and more how sucky they are. And then you get to a point where it's like, well, I'll just look after myself then. You know who I think must think this the most, even more than me? Two people. Firstly, Trump. He's trying to save America. He's not a perfect person, but he's trying to save America. And everyone's just fucking calling him names, insulting him, wishing he was dead, laughing at him getting shot. Judges are preventing his orders going through. Like, he's trying to save the country you live in. And people are insulting him. Imagine how demotivating that is to sit there and go, what the fuck am I even trying for these? I'm trying to save America and Americans, and most Americans are fucking retards. I could have just stayed rich and not bothered. And who else gets it and must really dislike people is Elon. He bought Twitter so that we could talk. And now everyone just insults him on his own platform. You're a fucking sellout to the fucking Jews. Fuck you, Elon. And even if I disagree with some things Elon said, And Elon and I aren't close. Like, Elon doesn't retweet me. He doesn't like my posts. Elon doesn't talk to me. But I have enough respect for Elon that he gave me Twitter that even if he said something I disagree with, no matter what it is, I'm not going to sit there. Even if I may at most respectfully disagree. Maybe I was raised in a different generation where you show respect to people who do nice things for you. Maybe I'm crazy. But I'm not going to sit there and go, you fuck you, Elon, you fucking fuck you. And I see people talking to Elon this way, and I'm like, he must hate everyone.
He bought an entire company
to let us talk.
To win an election as well.
And everyone's a dickhead. And you probably get it too. You make the podcast, and it's like, oh, that was shit. That was a sellout. Oh, your pods used to be good. Blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, what the fuck? And then you wonder why the people at the top go, you know what we should do? We should just lock them all in their houses and make them wear masks so they can't talk anymore. How about we just take all their freedom away? Because they fucking suck. I should fly to Davos on my jet and just say, guys, you were right. Guys, I'm sorry. I tried to free the slaves. My stupid ass got rich and walked into the slave compound and looked at all the slaves locked in their cell and said to the slave owners, dude, guys, you can't. This is inhumane. Don't do this. Let me go tell the slaves how to escape. Guys, if I tell you how to get out the cage, they're going to kill me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you where the key is. You're a sellout. I'm not a sellout. I'm not inside the cage with you. I'm the only one over here trying to help you get out. I'm telling you where the key is. You're a fucking sellout, fucking Jew. Guys, you were right. You're right. Just keep them in the fucking cage then. Just keep them there. They're fucking retards. I totally get it. I should go have some wine and a nice scrumptious dinner with the other world leaders. I should go to Davos and say, hi, Klaus. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Don't escape the Matrix. Let them stay in it. I'm out. Leave them there. People fucking blow, bro. And the remarkable thing about it is, it's almost self-fulfilling. This is what's so beautiful about it. The people who suck are trapped because they suck. Because the people who have enough respect for someone like Elon, like me, the people who have my normal mentality of, he helped me, show him respect. I promised him something, stick to my word. Let me analyze the situation, make the smart move. Like being the right, good person. All of those qualities are how you get out. People like Sneaky can never get out. He'll always self-sabotage. He'll always fuck up. He'll always talk shit about someone that he needed later on. He'll always chase clicks instead of think ahead. He's just too stupid. So he'll always be stuck where he is, which is streaming to basically nobody, barely paying the rent in a small apartment in New York.
What do you think he doesn't realize? Is it alliances?
I think that most people are exactly where they belong. I think that there is a strange cosmic justice in the universe. And all of the people who suck are trapped because they suck. And the people who escaped because they don't suck. Do you understand? It's almost like you have, this is an easy concept to understand when it comes to your physical body. You have the physical body you want. Because if you wanted to be bigger, you'd train harder. I've never seen anybody train in the gym every single day as hard as possible, eat right, and not get bigger. We're humans. It's like gravity. It has to happen. So why aren't you bigger? Because you don't train the gym. You don't eat right. Why? Because you don't want it enough. That's it. You have the body that you want. You may sit and go, I'd like another body. Like and want are different things. If you really wanted it, you'd go get it. And you have the life you want. And you have the friends you want. You have the alliances you want. If I ever meet Elon Musk, even though I've disagreed with him about many subjects, I disagree with him about H1B1 and a bunch of things. I'm not going to go up to, hey, you know what, fuck you, bro. What the fuck? Elon, thank you very much for giving me a Twitter account. I don't have to agree with everything you say, but thank you very much for what you did for the world. I just want to say thank you because I don't think enough people thank you, Elon. Thank you. Sneaky wouldn't say that. He'd take a selfie with Elon in the background and go, with the fucking Jew lover, and just be like, Elon will never do business with you. He will never talk to you. He will never help you. You'll never be able to call him. You wonder why you stay at the bottom. Imagine for a second how powerful a friend I could be to some unknown streamer. Imagine if they were only smart enough to understand, to sit and go, if I show that person respect, my life gets better. But sucky people stay where they are because they suck. So that's one of the things about people sucking that does give you a degree of, It does make you feel a bit warm inside, you know?
Why do you have reciprocity toward people who are unwilling to break out?
In what way? Sorry.
Like, it seems as though you want to wake people up still. Like, why?
It's a really good question. And for a long time, I think this is quite a recent feeling. For a long time, I truly believed, like I described earlier, if I freed the slaves, that we could make the world a better place. But I'm not going to lie to you. As of late, something is inside of me telling me that I misunderstood the message in the Matrix movie. I watched the Matrix movie, and I've watched that movie 1,000 times. I understand that movie on a level nobody else understands it. I have all my own crazy theories. Have you seen all 3 movies?
Just the first 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of crazy theories, and I think they're the best movies ever written. And when Morpheus says most minds are not ready to be freed, and they're going to fight to die and protect the system, I understood that part already. But I truthfully believed if we could free enough minds, we could build a better place for everybody. But I think a lot of people actually are happier in and of themselves and exist better where they are.
That's why the system's like it.
That's why the system is what it is. Because if they wanted to escape, just like if you wanted to be stronger or you wanted to be richer, if you wanted to escape, you would have escaped. And now we have this mass awakening of anti-Semitism, and all these people at home think they're so smart. I've worked it out. And they're in a brand new jail of the Jews are stopping me, so my life sucks. So your life sucked before, you didn't know why. Now your life sucks and you think you know why, but your life still sucks. And they've just moved. They've just painted the walls of their jail cell and they're sitting there in jail. And it's just like, they're beyond help. Like, how much trouble am I supposed to get in? And you're right. Why do I still feel like I need to help people? Quite recently, I'm starting to realize that if I open the gates on every single jail cell, by the time I've taken a piss and come back, they're going to be back in jail. They're going to put themselves back in jail. And they're going to paint the walls of their jail. And they're going to say, I'm not in jail anymore. My wall used to be pink. So you're in the same cell. But my wall's blue. And all you can do is close the door and leave them there. People are going to re-trap themselves. We had this mass awakening of consciousness, perpetuated heavily also by Nick. And everyone's just jumped into another cell. And everyone's not sitting there going, they're trying to make me feel a certain way. They're trying to do this to me, so I'm going to resist those things. They want me weak, so I'll get strong. They want me poor, so I'll get rich. They want me afraid, so I won't be. They want to convince my woman not to love me, so I'm going to make my woman love me and have a happy marriage and have a bunch of children. Instead, they go, oh, they want to do all this. It's them, and it's working. And they just sit there.
It's at a point where the PSYOP itself is people giving their energy to all the various PSYOPs.
Instead of giving their energy to winning. Instead of giving their energy to beating the PSYOPs. Instead of giving their energy to being above the PSYOPs. I really think if I continue to try and free minds, everyone's just going to put themselves back in jail. So what's the point in me eating a bullet? Maybe I had too much faith in humanity, Jack, before I started all this mission. Maybe I actually thought that if I show the light, that things would be different. And I wouldn't say I totally made a mistake, because the Overton window has certainly shifted. I think the world is a better place than it was when I first started speaking up. I don't think they'd get away with COVID again, for example. I think if they tried COVID again, people are too awake for that now. But it is disheartening to see that a large subsect of the population are always going to be a prisoner to something.
On this Overton window concept, it's basically the idea that you've moved the line of what we're allowed to say. And I just know that to be objectively true. Because Nick Fuentes wouldn't have happened if Andrew Tate hadn't have happened, in my belief. What do you think is the most important thing that we can talk about now that we weren't allowed to talk about before? Like, people don't realize how much it's changed.
It's changed. Yeah, when I first started speaking up, I would make national news for saying something as mundane as women can't drive. And now everyone on the internet is screaming women shouldn't even vote. So I've super heavily shifted the Overton window. And now we can have conversations about gender, about intersex dynamics, which are super important because that affects politics as a whole. We can have conversations about geopolitics that we couldn't previously have. We can have conversations about the fact that The entire media apparatus is designed to lie to us. We could have conversations about the scam of the education system. We can have conversations about things that would literally get your account banned and you'd instantly be shunned if you ever tried to discuss before. But primarily, I would say actually anti-Feminism. And I did Patrick Bet David, and everyone's talking about the beginning of that podcast where I had to explain for an hour that fucking video. But after that, I talk about how important it is to go to bat against feminism and how feminism is the primary thing that is destroying Western society. And I talk about it for an hour and a half. So I actually encourage people, although it's another podcast to yours, I'm sorry, to watch that podcast where I explain it. But the problem with shifting the Overton window is that apathy sets in and hedonistic adaptation sets in, and things I said that were extreme back then are no longer extreme. So then people look for the new extreme to get the dopamine. And that's why people like Nick happen, because Nick will say things that I won't say, and they're always chasing the new high. And in 2 or 3 years, eventually, Nick will not be extreme enough for them, and they'll find some other guy who's fuck knows what he's saying and doing. Everyone's chasing the new high, right? The new dopamine. And anyone who's not currently at the absolute leading edge of extremity is considered some form of sellout. That's how it works.
I believe at one point you said something along the lines of, like, my videos go viral because I speak the truth. But do you think the truth is what makes something viral anymore?
My videos went viral because they were speaking to the hearts of millions of young men who were being suppressed and oppressed, and they were feeling and thinking things that they weren't allowed to say, and they thought that there was something wrong with them. And then they would watch my video and realize that there's nothing wrong with them and that everyone actually thinks like them and they're actually doing the right thing. So people were being heard for the first time via my videos because I was talking the truth, and that's what was allowing them to become the most watched videos on the planet. But nowadays, now that a lot of the truth has been told in many ways, men are no longer afraid of being men. The idea of toxically masculine has basically fallen out of favor because of me. Toxically masculine, I haven't heard in a serious context in years. That was everywhere. Then I came along, the most toxic of all, and went to war with them directly and beat them. And now I don't even hear Hollywood people talking about it. No one says that stupid saying anymore. So I defeated them. So a lot of the truth about gender dynamics and masculinity has been told specifically by me. I did it, me. To all the ungrateful masses who say I sold out, I did it, and I went to jail for it. So is truth what makes something viral today? Or is it just a world where everyone has ADHD, nobody can focus for very long, everyone's chasing as much dopamine as possible, everyone wants the most extreme content, no one can even watch a movie or read a book without staring at their phone. We need 5 or 6 different inputs at the same time, all these different stimuli. So are people now looking for the truth, or has enough truth been told and now people are just looking for entertainment? And entertainment is often, whoa! And woe doesn't have to be true. Woe just has to be woe.
It's also the people getting permission to engage with something that they find like unsettling. That's kind of why your recent incident went viral, because it was perceived as so extreme that certain groups of people were given permission to engage with it. You know what I mean?
I think the recent incident went viral, truthfully, Jack, with all due respect, because I was there. If Myron Clav, Sneak, and Nick went to the club and played that song, no one would have gave a fuck. Never would have been on the national news, never would have been a big issue. If Clav and Sneeko play that song right now on stream, which they've done 1,000 times, guess what's going to happen? Nothing. They're nobodies. But Andrew Tate was there. I'm a real guy. So if someone got shot in that nightclub, the news article would have been, a man shot in the nightclub Andrew Tate is at. Andrew Tate near shooting in Miami nightclub. Andrew Tate involved in gun incident in Florida. I didn't shoot him. I didn't get shot. I was just there. I'm the main fucking character. I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's kind of flattering, but I'm the main character. It went viral because I was there. You have all of them, maybe Myron, maybe Nick a bit, but it's because I was there. That's what it is. So, I mean, Nick's views are very well known. Myron's views are very well known. But I actually think, if you want me to super analyze that situation, I think the only reason it blew up is because the system can use it to bat me over the head. Myron's not going to go to jail for that. Nick's not going to go to jail for that. The other two aren't going to go to jail for that. The only person who's looking at possibly going to jail because of that video is me. So the Matrix pushed that video very heavily to use it against me in court. I'm the one who's going to have to face the court case for that video, even though I didn't play the song. Only me. Anything I'm involved in that they can use to wreck me, trust me, they'll do it.
Do you get skeptical every time you see something that's super viral?
Oh, 100%. 100%. People think the media tells you what happened. The media, its specific job is not to tell you what's happened. It's to prepare you for what's about to happen. The simplest example of this is Diddy beating the shit out of Cassie in the hotel. That clip came out, and I said to Tristan, Diddy's going to jail. And he said, why? I said, have you seen the clip of him beating up Cassie? He said, is he going to court for that? I said, no. He's never to this day been charged with that. I said, it's nothing to do with that. They are trying to prepare the public and prepare the public's minds that he is a bad person and deserves jail. 1 week later, he was arrested. Was he charged with beating her up? No, that's on video. Wasn't charged with that. How did I know that was a setup? Because that video is 15 years old. Why would they hold on to a video for 15 years and never release it? No one ever saw it before. Then it pops up out of nowhere. Then he's arrested. Because if they just arrested him out of nowhere, people would be like, hey, not Diddy, I like his songs. No, they want everyone to believe you're guilty before you're even found guilty. So they had to release the video to set him up. Why
Can you explain that more? The gradual disclosure thing?
Absolutely. So the media is specific. It's almost like the media makes things come true. It doesn't report what happened and what's true. It makes things come true. So let's look at my example, for example, and I think this explains it. If I wasn't there, the video wouldn't have gone viral. Why? Because they're trying to lock me up for being a hateful person. So they have to take anything they can get and push to the public constantly and endlessly, not because I am hateful, but to convince them I'm hateful so they can lock me up for being hateful. That's what the media does. It shapes narratives. It doesn't report what's going to happen. It shapes the narrative. COVID is the perfect example of this. They tell you about all the people who are dying in China and falling over in the street. I never saw that, did you? The Italian hospitals being full. Never saw a full hospital, did you? They shape the narrative, and then COVID becomes real from nothing. That's the media's job, to predict the future. If you watch the media with the right lens, with the right mindset, if you're perspicacious, my favorite word, when you watch the media, you can see the future. That's how I make so much money. I sit and watch the media and I go, I know what's coming. I know what's going to happen here. I know what's going to happen there. They start talking about Putin, or they start about this. And that. I was like, okay, I saw the Ukraine-Russia war coming. You can see these things if you read the media or watch the media because they're preparing your minds to accept the bullshit they're about to pull off. That's all they've ever done. So the reason that video went viral, just so everyone at home understands, is because I am the only one of the group who is going to be facing charges related to that video or related to something else. And they're going to use that video as evidence to conclude, oh, yes, he said this about women. And look, he also said that, well, he didn't play the song, but look at the kind of company he keeps. I'm the one who has to go to court for all of this. Only me, none of them. Me. And they're preparing the public for everyone at home to sit and go, well, yeah, he probably didn't rape that girl, but have you seen, he says that stuff about Jews and he's really extreme. He has a big mouth, so, he got himself in trouble. Fuck him. It's all a psyop.
Theoretically, do you think this applies to multiple forms of media?
I think it applies to basically everything, especially the internet. The things that are supported or boosted or retweeted. Most of the accounts on the internet now, I have a theory, 90% of them are fake. I can't tell you what I know, Jack, but let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask questions. I'm a dummy who's just asking questions. If you're an intelligence agency, it's your primary objective to keep stability within your country, prevent terrorism, prevent extremism, and keep your country relatively stable. Would you agree?
Right.
Okay. So to do that, you try and push ideas in the education system and with the media, and culturally, you have your ideas that you want people to believe in. So you push them via your mechanisms, which are the schools, which are the newspapers, which are the TV, and you push these ideas out as much as possible so people adhere to them so that your country remains stable. Would you agree? So if somebody has ideas which are counter to these ideas, yes, they're a national security threat, but then also they could be a national security asset if they change some of their opinions, for example. Would you agree?
Yes.
So if you're an intelligence agency for a Western country and you identify somebody who's in this position, would it be appropriate to assign a handler or attempt to honeypot him or approach him with an offer or have people come and speak to him or explain to him why he's in the position he's in? Considering this is just one guy with all this influence, which is causing all these problems, don't you think a security apparatus would apply some form of human intelligence to this individual?
Right.
And then this individual would understand things about how the world works, which he was told from people who run the world. And he would know exactly what he can and can't say as to what's going to get him killed or not. He'd literally say to him, in this hypothetical.
Did you see my video about this?
No.
Tristan replied to it, and we had someone who trains intelligence on the podcast, and he walked through this scenario. He said, Jack, they would sit you down at a bar, and they would say, would you consider yourself a patriot? And then they would show you every piece of search history, everything you've ever watched.
I mean, you don't want anyone to get hurt if they misunderstand your ideas, right?
Right.
I mean, you're not a bad person, but you're saying things and some people don't quite understand them and they might take it to extreme, you know? In this hypothetical scenario, he was hypothetically approached by 4 or 5 different agencies. Let's say the Israelis tried. Let's say the British tried. Let's say the Americans have tried. And they've told him exactly what he can say and he can't say. And they explained that probably around 90% of the interaction you are currently seeing on the internet is fake.
Quick question. Are you someone that makes content or runs Facebook ads for your company? If so, I'm guessing you probably use ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, some AI tool to speed up the process of your copywriting, ad ideation, video ideas, etc. Well, I found this other tool and it's so powerful that I almost wanted to gatekeep it from you guys, but it lets you put YouTube videos, Facebook ads, TikToks, tweets all in one vision board and connect it to a chat bot which you can interact with and make content out of. So instead of wasting hours on ChatGPT, uploading screenshots, or transcribing YouTube videos to make content, you can simply put it all in one vision board that connects to a chat bot to speed up the process. But if you guys want to try it out for yourselves, just go to jackneel.com/poppy. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if it doesn't make your content better, it's completely free. But anyway, guys, back to the podcast.
It's all bots. 90% of what you're reading on Twitter and the comments you're reading on streams and the Facebook accounts, all of it is bullshit. And it is narrative that is deliberately being shaped. This was first done during COVID. Do you remember when COVID first came and people would tweet out their symptoms? There were these stupid accounts who would say, oh my God, I have COVID and my throat is so bad. And then they wrote these little paragraphs and it got like 55,000 retweets. Do you remember this? Not many people remember this. Find them. And they were everywhere, convincing everyone to be afraid of this disease. That was all fake. That was the beginning of it. If they want, for example, me to definitely end up in jail, or for people to accept that I get shot in the head, or to get myself in trouble, or for me to lose cover from a nation that's decided to protect me because they believe I'm innocent. If they wanted me to get in trouble, what they would do in this hypothetical scenario is take a nightclub event and then bought the replies that I sold out to try and convince me, to psyop me into standing up and doing something stupid. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then people who read the comments, because they're sheep, they'll see everyone else calling me a sellout. So they'll be like, and they join in.
Right.
And before you know it, I've set myself on fire and I'm dead.
Our last podcast, you said, that's a good question 17 times, I think. And I posted a clip of it. And you know what all my comments are on my podcast now? Jack, you ask really good questions. Jack, you ask great questions. And I'm like, damn, that actually works.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Absolutely. So not only can they shape a narrative, but they can use the narrative shaping to force action. If you're, for example, Candace, who I love, I am a fan of Candace. I will ride for and protect Candace to the end. But if she presents 5 theories on why something happened, and one of them is getting a bunch of traction positive, that doesn't mean it's true. In fact, it might mean the opposite.
Charlie Kirk was a time traveler.
My point is, we're now at a stage with the internet where it is so heavily manipulated by government agencies. Nothing you read is real. All the people you think you're interacting with aren't real. And the ones that are real are psyoped by the other accounts that aren't real. So everyone's a fucking bot. Everyone's an agent. And they're convincing people to do very silly things. You could be a nobody retard streamer and sell out everybody who's ever tried to help you, even people who are more important than you, believing you're getting likes and clicks and believing you're doing the right thing and believing, people like me now. And you're just destroying yourself. And the system is keeping you there where you belong as a fucking nobody. So I know things that I've been told from credible sources. And basically everything that you're currently experiencing online is a fucking scam. When you're on the internet, you need to consider yourself alone. You need to approach the internet like, I'm alone here. And I'm actually, for the first time, directly interacting with the simulation, like the Matrix movie. I'm going to talk to the head of the machines, and all the sentients are around me. All the machines are around me, the agents are around me, the hologram programs, the sentients, the machine mind is here. I'm here to talk to the machine and understand what the machine is trying to convince me of, what it wants me to do. But there's no people here. This is empty. This is a desert. I'm here by myself. Because the feed, the algorithm that I am being fed, may not have any real people on it at all. And the other real person who's logged in has a brand new algorithm, different than me, a different For You page, and he has a whole new different set of bots convincing him of different things. The liberals have their circles, the conservatives have their circles, we're at war, everyone has their own circles, reading their own bots, feeding them their own things. No one's talking to each other, we're all isolated. Everyone's by themselves. If you accidentally cross over into someone else's sphere, you just read all the crap that's being sent at them and you join in. None of it's real anymore. How have the governments, as completely corrupt as they are, remained in power? Considering we now have unlimited access to information and can communicate instantly globally around the world with anyone. So how the fuck did the people who are corrupted to the core stay in power? Surely the internet was a panic moment for them. Surely they thought, we have to shut this the fuck down. But now it's bigger than ever. Are the people who are in charge of the entire planet stupid? I mean, people seem to they go, our politicians are idiots. Look at the state of the country. You think it's fucked because they're dumb? Or do you think it's fucked because they want it fucked? Like, are you so ignorant that you think they're ignorant? They run the fucking world. And if you're a smart person who's not in their club and starts to do really amazing things, you end up joining their club. So let's also argue. Not only, I'll ask you a question. Are the people in charge of the world idiots? If the answer to that is no, my next question is, are the people who are in charge of the world pretty good at convincing all of the world's best talent to join them? I mean, considering they can shoot you in the fucking face. The answer is yes. So the best people on the planet do what? They rule the world. So are we going to sit and pretend that they've just let us all get this big group, this big club, where we can all sit there and just talk to each other and fucking, oh, hey, I think, and just work it all out? The Arab Spring, which was a revolutionary moment in world history, was all caused by the internet. When Tunisia and Egypt and all these countries started overthrowing their leaders in 2015, I think it was, or 2005. I can't remember if it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I think it was 10 years ago, 2015. That was all an internet-led protest. The internet itself was the weapon used by the US government to overthrow all these other governments. The America got a fucking hard on and thought, we don't need to even bomb countries anymore. We can just set up fake accounts and we can cause riots anywhere and we can control everything. And then Donald Trump won the presidency in 2016 and they were like, oh shit, the internet was now used to choose an American president that we didn't want. We use the internet to choose a president that we did want somewhere else, but it turns out that can also be used against us. This was in 2016. Because Donald Trump was the first internet president because the news hated him, the media hated him, everyone hated him. The polls said Hillary was going to win 99%, but the internet saved him. So the internet got proved to be an extremely powerful tool. So now there's one of two scenarios. The people in charge of the world go, oh, well, we've lost control of the world. People are on the internet and they've worked out the truth. They ignore the news and they choose their own leaders. Doop-de-doo. Or did they think, let's hit him with Russiagate, let's try and get him impeached, and let's get in control of this again. We have to fix this problem. We can't turn it off, but we can perhaps influence what people see. Perhaps. This is 2016. This is 10 years ago they started working on this. Here we are now, and you scroll Twitter. Does it even look real? Think about it. Like, that's not real. This is not real. None of this is real. These aren't people. This is not real. I'm sitting there. I'm like, this is not real. This is a psyop.
You have to view it as though this thing is actively trying to manipulate me.
A machine has analyzed I'll talk about from personal experience. A machine, and perhaps because I'm so important, some high-level psychologists have analyzed my page and done a profile on me specifically, and they have gone to an algorithm and specifically trained bots to make me believe things that they want me to believe. My feed and my experience is all completely aimed at me, and it's the same for everyone.
And it's not just the comments.
No, it's everything. It's the things you see. It's the comments that are sent at you. It's the pictures you see. They know what you click on. All of it is designed. It's a fucking psyop. You're alone in a desert surrounded by machines. Because that's how the elites have regained control. Because they lost control in 2016 with the internet when Donald Trump first became president. And now they don't seem to be panicking anymore. Like, they're not really worried. Everyone's awake and aware to what's really going on. Everyone's awake and aware to how the government is corrupted. Everyone understands their money's being stolen. Everyone understands they've been lied to for every single war. Everybody knows COVID was a scam. Everybody knows their taxes are a scam. Everybody knows everything, but nothing happens because they're subdued by the algorithm. A smart man I once knew said the psyop is convincing you to talk about the psyop. So we have people who understand the whole world's fucked up, and instead of doing something about it, instead of improving their own life, instead of going out there and doing something good, they're sitting online typing about anti-Semitism. And they think they've escaped the jail. Why? Because their whole feed is what? Anti-Semitism. And they want to join in. And they think they're fucking smart now, and they've worked it all out. It's a fucking trick. They have decided we can no longer hide the truth from the population. So instead, we're going to manipulate them with this very careful, selective outrage, false accounts, false version of reality, where that although they know everything, they stay subdued and they continue to do what? Because you know what all of these people who know the truth about everything still do? Work and pay taxes. I know the world's a scam and I'm sick of those fucking Jews. You know what? COVID was a scam and the elections are rigged. Here, IRS. Those Somalians stole all my tax money. Here, IRS. What the fuck? The fuck? You think you're a freedom fighter? Charlie could actually move people. That's what they were scared of. Charlie got people away from the algorithm. Come to this place and sit on this chair. He has to die. But if you're a guy, I can get 100,000 people on my podcast show. Oh, so they're all at home. Cool. They're at home reading the comments. That's fine. You do your podcast. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. None of it's fucking real.
Do you think these influencers know how much bot activity?
Nobody knows. Nobody thinks. If everybody is aware that the world is a scam, why is the world not on fire? Everybody is being subdued by these algorithms. Everybody is a fucking digital eunuch. They're sitting there with their balls cut off. The most revolutionary man you can find and you can name spends most of his time scrolling, bro. Oh, yeah, I'm a freedom fighter. Da, 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 da. Watch him get bored for 5 minutes. What's he going to do? Scroll TikTok or play a video game. Genuinely, you could name anyone now who tells the truth, and I guarantee he spends most of his time playing video games.
But do you think there's some influencers, and I can't say any names on this because I can't think of any good examples, who are being pushed and they don't even realize they're being pushed?
Oh, 100%. Every famous influencer within the traditional matrix is being pushed specifically by the matrix for a reason. Mr. Beast is being pushed for a reason. This is why he had to let one of his crew go tranny. That's not in fashion anymore, so they don't talk about that. But when he was at the height of his popularity, one of the people with a wife and a kid randomly decided to become a tranny. Why? Because it was the most watched channel in the world. So they approached him and said, we've made you famous. We made you. And we made you not for you to do stupid game show bullshit. It was actually for you to convince everyone at home that being a tranny is great. So which one of you wants to cut their fucking dick off?
Or maybe they just controlled that person's algorithm.
And maybe he met some people online who convinced him. Friends. Some friends on Discord. Never saw them, but they're real friends. I'm going to tell you something I've never told anyone on any podcast. When I got out of jail, I was getting extremely well-written, actually convincing messages to kill myself. On DM, handwritten letters sent to my address, email, and I'd read them and I'd say, one of the world's best psychologists must have constructed this letter. Why? They're trying to convince me to kill myself. They want me gone. And I'd be reading these letters and I'd sit and say, no man would have written this way, and no woman who's never met me could even think this way. This is a psyop. A psychologist and his team sat there and thought, we've watched all his videos. How do we convince this man to finally just give up? He's locked in his house. He can't get out. He's looking at all these charges. He's facing 10 years in the worst jail in Europe. He'll probably get stabbed to death in there anyway. Surely we can convince him to kill himself. And nobody knows this, Jack. But when Tristan and I would do emergency meetings, we would choose words from these letters and say them. We'd sit there with a cigar with our shirts off and we'd say a particular word and like flex and be like, fuck you. We're not going to do it. And I think the reason they hate me so much, the British state especially, because it's all coming out of England, it's MI6, just like they tried to convince MLK to kill himself. Don't know if you've seen those letters. Have you never seen them? Oh, Martin Luther King got many letters from the FBI saying he should just kill himself. Look it up. The reason they hate me so much is all these psychologists sit around GCHQ going, this fucking guy, we can't break this fucking guy. We've tried every psychologist trick. We insult him in the news. We slander him. When we insult other people in the news, they start crying. They start saying they can't take the pressure. They can't take the media heat. They've arrested my mother. They've arrested the mothers of my kids. They've arrested my girlfriends. They put all them in jail for a day in England. They all trying to threaten on them to fucking roll on me. And we've hit him with all these letters and it doesn't work. Then what they did is they started sending letters to my girlfriends or the mothers of my kids, convincing them to leave me or convincing the mothers of my kids to not let me see my kids. Psychologists would sit and write letters from concerned, random people trying to convince the mother of my kids to keep my kids away from me. And when they showed me the letter and I read it, I'm smart enough to know. It's kind of like there's a weird thing between fighters. If I walk in a room, I can tell if another man can fight. I can just tell. And as a convincing man, I can tell when somebody else is world level convincing. I read it going, this is the best. This is the best money can buy. This isn't some random concerned fan. This is the best money can buy. And how the fuck do they know the address of my baby mama anyway? Like, what random fan knows where my kids live? Because if that was true, I'd be in a lot more trouble. Who the fuck delivered this? So if governments have time to do that, you think they're not controlling a fucking Twitter algo? They've been trying to convince me to kill myself ever since I was fucking arrested. Because it's cleaner if I do it, I guess. And I guess they thought if I lose all the women who I care about and who love me, I guess I'm more vulnerable. And the magic of it is this. I think they've come to a conclusion that the reason I won't kill myself is because of Tristan. And that we're too strong as a team. And that's why every time I get hit with a charge, he gets hit with a charge. They had to take us both out. It can't come from me alone and leave Tristan untouched. If Andrew Tate assaulted someone in 2009, Tristan Tate assaulted someone in 2009. We got to get him. And that's not the only reason. I'd say psychologists, one of the main reasons is because I'm fucking stubborn. Because I refuse. Because I don't want to make my enemies happy. So I'd rather just live. Even if I'm fucking desperately miserable for the next 50 years, I'll live just to annoy them. That's who I am. But most people on the planet don't have any comprehension of exactly how evil and how conniving and how intelligent the people who are running this fucking show are. They make you give them half your money that you worked for, and they publicly waste it in front of your fucking face, and you still give it to them. You're calling them dumb? They tell you what fucking speed to drive at on the road. They tell you where you can and can't fucking live. You buy a house and you try and put up a shed. They come in and say, no, zoning laws. I bought this house. Ain't really yours. Property taxes, please. So what happens if I don't pay my taxes? We take it, but I bought it. Fuck you. Gimme. Everyone's a fucking slave to these people. You think they're fucking dumb? And everyone's sitting around at home going, the leaders of the world are stupid. Look at him. He's an idiot. He runs your fucking life. And these people have not only tried to convince me to kill myself, they fucking spoke to me. They've sat me down and said, look, there's limits. They also spoke to fucking Trump. They tried to put a bullet in his head. He's now the president of the United States. Why is there no investigation into why CNN played Butler, Pennsylvania, his only ever rally they played live on CNN? Why? The one where they try and blow his brains out on camera. Why is Fauci not in jail? Why is Hillary not in jail? Why is Obama not in jail? No one's going to fucking jail for anything. Mr. Trump, you can do your tariffs and you can kick out a few migrants, but there's limits to what you can and can't do. If you want your children to live and you want to keep your towers,
The first thing you asked me before we sat down was, is this live?
Because if this was live and I was saying what I'm saying, I would already be in trouble. But I know what my limit is. And I believe for anyone at home with half a brain, they understand that I don't have to show you where to piss. I can just point to where the toilet is. You know, that's my job. Keeps me alive. But the world is actually a very, I grew up with nothing. I grew up in Gary, Indiana, which is a shithole. And then I moved to Luton, England, which is a shithole. I lived with my mom by herself, and I grew up amongst crime. And my friends were murdered. And a guy tried to kill me when I was 21. That's why this finger was nearly cut off by a knife, and it's sewed back on. And I became a fighter, and I was selling drugs to pay the rent. And I've been through all this shit. And I imagined if I just get out of the ghetto that the world's a better place. But the world at the top is exactly the same as the world at the bottom. If you're in the middle, you live in this comfortable dream. You live in this illusion where the law is real and the police want to help people. And if there's a fire, I call the fireman. And if I'm sick, I go to the doctor. Doop, doop, doop. But if you're on either end of the extreme, if you're at the bottom, you understand how conniving and underhanded and sneaky and dangerous the world really is. And when you get to the top, it's exactly the fucking same. Countries and politics are the same as fucking drug gangs and street corners, bro. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. And the reason I told the story about the letters and the messages on Twitter trying to convince me to kill myself is that earlier today, I was sitting there looking at a psyop unfold on my feed related to this video, understanding what they're trying to convince me to do. Because my father had a quote, which I read every day. I allow manipulation to find out where my enemy wants me to go, and then I use my mind to break the trap and punish the perpetrators. What do you want me to do? Let me read it. What is this trying to make me do? Okay, that's what they want. Why? Am I going to give it to them? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But what do they want? And I was remembering one of the letters that was trying to convince me to kill myself, and I remember it was so beautifully written that I'd read it maybe 100 times. It was so well written. I don't know how to explain to you how well this letter was constructed. I uploaded a video when I still had the beard in my house saying I had bad nightmares and PTSD and I couldn't sleep anymore from jail. And that was true because of the cockroaches in the jail. They all used to crawl over me at night. So when I got home, and I was laying in my bed, I kept thinking I was feeding cockroaches and I couldn't sleep for weeks. And I'd keep checking my bed for cockroaches. And I'd sleep with like tape over my mouth and all this crazy shit. And I was awake all night and I couldn't sleep. And I refused to take sleeping pills and I refused to go to a psychologist because I refused that shit. I said, God gave me nightmares. I'll take the nightmares. Fuck it. And I was sitting there awake. And I remember being awake one night and I read that letter, that message. It was on Twitter. I read it like 50 times. I've never read anything so enthralling. It's like, I don't know what to say. Imagine someone writing a letter to you, trying to convince you to kill yourself, but it's so well written that you can't look away and you keep reading it. Like a car crash where you see someone's head come off. You shouldn't look at it, but you're just staring. And today I was trying to find the Twitter account that sent it to me. And I don't remember exactly how the Twitter account was spelled. And I'm typing in and I'm trying to search and find this Twitter account that sent me this particular letter. Because I was just curious, like, does the account still exist? Like, what does the account do now? It's been 4 years. And I'm trying to find it and I'm typing in all these names of the spelling of what I can remember. And every account I click on, although it's not the account that sent me the letter, every single account I click on, it's a fucking bot. It's like, oh, that's just a bot. That's just a bot. And after about 20 minutes of clicking on about 40 different bots, all with very similar spelling to my name, I thought, are all these bots convincing someone else of something? None of these bots are messaging me, but they all exist and they all have a similar name. Who are they messaging? What are they trying to convince them to do? Maybe they don't want them to kill themselves. Maybe they want them to go kill someone else. Maybe they're friends. What is this? Nothing. Jack, I barely believe we're real at this point. People who are not in my position and don't know what I know aren't even smart enough to sit there and go, I shouldn't really have an opinion on what Tate's doing or what he's saying or why he's doing it because I don't have a fucking clue what's going on. I saw the nightclub video. Here's what you should have done. You don't even have a fucking clue. You think that video went viral on accident and that the comments are real and that people don't even understand the fucking game we're playing. And this is how, and if anything ever happens to me, I hope people watch this video. This is how I finally now truly understand that the best people on the planet are running the planet, because if we were to argue that I'm one of the best people on the planet, well, I certainly didn't become this famous by accident. I'm certainly good at something. The only refuge for me is over there. And we all want peace. No matter how big of a tough guy you are, you want to sleep in your bed at night. You want to hold your kids without concern. You want to walk around without the constant anxiety and fear. I mean, no matter how much you fight them, you end up with PTSD, you end up with anxiety disorder, you end up with stress. And when they say there's a nice place, all you have to do is leave all the people who are calling you names. They don't even like you. All the people who hate you, all the people who betray you, all the people you tried to help, look, they're bad people. That's why we do it to them, but you're not like them. They're bad people. That's why they get what they deserve. You can have all the money. You can have all the fame. You can have anything you want. All your problems will go away. You can have everything. Why are you sticking up for these peasants? Why are you sticking up for these horrible people? They don't even like you. They're mean to you. Andrew, you know better than this. We don't want anyone to get hurt, Andrew. We just want the country to be stable. Why don't you come lay over here? Come over here with us. And you understand why everyone eventually just goes over there with them.
Andrew, how did you go from talking to Bonnie Blue to this podcast right now? But I will ask you this.
What? No. I'm going to answer that. Did you see what I tried to do when I spoke to Bonnie Blue? Because I didn't argue or disagree with Bonnie Blue on anything. I agreed with her on everything. But I think that people at home understood what I was trying to do and the points I was trying to make. If we understand that certain people, certain ideas, certain algorithms are pushing certain things, why is Bonnie Blue famous? If I had the capability to destroy Bonnie Blue and destroy her brand and destroy her influence, why did she sit down with me? If I'm in Romania, a country where I have all these legal problems, why did I take time out of my day to sit down with her? And also, why did I agree with everything she said? Now, maybe, let's imagine, I was so fucking clever that I could complete the mission of agreeing and amplifying some garbage while also destroying the mission and letting everyone at home understand what I was doing. But why did I even agree to that? If I said no, perhaps things would have got measurably worse. I'm not saying they would have killed me. I'm not saying they would have killed me for that one defiance. What I'm saying is that there is a risk reward to every decision. And perhaps I sat there and thought, this is the mission they want me to complete. But maybe I can actually win twice because I'm that good. So this one is not worth the risk because I can pull this off. I can get away with this. Otherwise, why the fuck would I talk to her? And that's why I went from that podcast to this one.
Do you think the lie is different at every level?
That's an amazing question. And yes, absolutely. I think that, how they convince someone in the middle to continue to be a good slave in the middle is different than how they convince someone at the top to continue to be a good slave at the top. I think it's slightly different lies, yes. But to a degree, it's all divide and conquer. To a degree. I'd say in the middle, they try very hard to make the Republicans hate the Democrats, the whites hate the blacks. They push feminism so that men and women hate each other. They try very hard to create divide. And at the top, they unify you in elitism and create the divide between you and everyone below you. Come stay over here. They're all peasants. There is none of these divides at the top. This is the thing that people don't understand when I was talking earlier about anti-Semitism. If a Saudi billionaire parks his yacht next to an Israeli billionaire, there's no